Waiwai Mahjong is a Hucard Mahjong game for the PC Engine from 1989. I wanted to know what Waiwai meant, so I asked ChatGPT. To summarize its lengthy response, Waiwai means happily or with lots of noise and activity. The subtitle of the game, according to PC Engine Bible, is Yukai na Janyu Tachi, which means cheerful Mahjong friends. Clearly, the developers of this game wanted the title to reflect that it is a fun, cartoonish, and friendly game. This is in stark contrast to the many lewd Mahjong games that were prevalent, both on home console and in the arcades. In my head, I can imagine a man in Japan who wants to play a Mahjong video game, but doesn't want his wife to get upset if he buys a more, let's just say, flashy title. He can show this to his wife, and she'll know immediately that this one is pretty harmless. Even kids could play this one. The case is a little weird on this one, as it has a yellow spine label. This is the first Hucard I've come across that's like this. It also has the Hucard text surrounded by green, which is also weird. They are always a shade of blue in my experience. Factoring in inflation for the yen, this game costs about $50 USD in today's money. Not too bad. Some Hucards have a suggested price of almost double that. Yikes. I always get a kick out of these registration cards. I wonder what would happen if you actually mailed one in. Would the person it arrived at have any idea what it was? I like the fact that they wrote bios for all the characters in the manual, even including their blood type. The racer might be a foreigner, with their name being Ariane Stupido, probably a pun of some kind. Aaron Stoplight, maybe? The nun may be a foreigner too, with her name being Sister Elizabeth Kobayashi. Maybe mixed parentage? Did local nuns adopt English names? They probably did. Maybe someone who can make sense of the bio can fill me in. ChatGPT says the scientist is named Ironstein, play on words for Einstein. The names are probably all puns of some kind. I used to bring game manuals with me to school when I was a kid, both to show off the new games I got and just to dig into the lore. I practically lived inside of Secret of Mana for at least a year. Anyway, Waiwai Mahjong is a two-player game, one human and one CPU only, which is fine because if you're seriously considering playing this game, you probably don't have any friends anyway. And it has some unique features that I think make it a perfect choice for those looking to learn more about the game. The game has two modes, normal and campaign. Normal is the quick start mode that lets you immediately jump into a game and just start playing. What's great about normal mode for beginners is that if you choose the easy difficulty setting, the Mahjong master will give you advice and hints that are incredibly useful, even if you can't really read Japanese. You just need to know which parts to focus on in his speech bubbles. When a round begins, he'll first tell you what type of hand, or yaku, you should aim for. The yaku name will be surrounded by Japanese-style quotation marks, so it's easy to spot. I use this cheat sheet to decipher the characters. After a while, you might even be able to just sight read them. As for his recommendations, I've found he is almost always correct. If you do what he says, you will probably win. This is great because it forces you to try to aim for new hands that you might not normally try for. For example, I was playing on original hardware, and the master suggested I try for a Kokushi Muso, or 13 Orphans, where you get a 1 and a 9 in every simple suit, one of each honor tile, and an honor pair. This hand is quite rare and hard to pull off, so I was stunned when I actually put it together. Another hint you will get is what tiles your opponent is waiting for in order to win. If you discard one of those, you will lose immediately. Lastly, you will get advice about when you are in tenpai, meaning one tile away from winning, and when you have tenpai but no yaku, so you should go into reach, and so on. For beginners, the game also has guardrails so that you cannot declare reach incorrectly, meaning a guaranteed loss, or declare Tsumo or Ron, the winning moves, when you can't legally do them. Next, once you are in reach and the tile you need comes up, the game will automatically bring up the action menu and highlight Tsumo or Ron, so that you don't miss your win by accidentally skipping past it. Goodness knows I've done that before in other games. The game will also tell you what Yaku the opponent is going for, but I've so far failed to see how that would be useful. I'm sure it would help somebody, I'm just not to the point where I would know what to do with that information. Before we get into the campaign mode, let's talk about the cast of characters. The opponents are grouped into difficulty levels. There are 6 easy, 4 medium, and 2 hard, as well as the final boss, the Mahjong Master himself, making a total of 13 opponents. On easy, the opponents are an idol, like a young flash-in-the-pan celebrity, kind of, a policewoman, an artist, a Catholic nun called Sister in katakana, a baseball player, and a racer. For medium, we have a celebrity of some sort, I think. It just says talento, which is a little vague, it just means talent in English. A teacher, an office lady, and a politician. For hard difficulty, we have a scientist and an MC, maybe like a TV presenter. Now, in the campaign mode, you give yourself a character name and face off with these 13 characters. As you defeat them by reducing their score to 0, their avatars disappear from the list. Once you've defeated all of the easy level characters, you'll move on to the next level, until you finally face off with the Mahjong Master. Once you've beaten him, you've officially beaten the game. That means with some luck and skill, you can beat this one in under an hour. Campaign mode itself is also split into 2 types, with and without items. The items are single-use power-ups that can give you an in-game advantage. A common one seen in other games is the partial mulligan, where you can choose 1 or more tiles to discard and redraw from your hand. The others include a devil card, the perspective glasses, and the lightning reach betting stick. The glasses let you view your opponent's hand, and I think the lightning stick increases your chances of getting the last tile you need, as I won immediately after playing it. I wasn't able to figure out the devil card, and the in-game text didn't explain it. The manual says something about getting an opportunity to activate it if you are almost losing, and it lets you do something, but I'm not clear on what exactly. There's a screenshot on pcengine.co.uk that shows a final mystery item, but I wasn't able to replicate that myself. Compared to some of the more complex Mahjong games, especially those on PC Engine CD, Waiwai Mahjong is a simple game. There isn't an overarching plot, there is no RPG mode with a character walking around on a world map, there are no essential items to collect, no romance, or really anything else. The good thing here is you can get right into the game in seconds and just start playing, whereas with more story-driven games like those of the Jantei Monogatari series, it might take quite a few minutes until the first round can even begin. The downside is there really isn't much else about this game to keep you coming back. The visuals are fun, and the music, while limited only to 1 main song, is fun enough. Some other Mahjong games have music that is just way too intense or serious sounding, making me feel like I'm fighting for my life or taking down an empire instead of just playing a board game. The art style for the characters is pretty charming, but limited. Overall, this is a fun, casual, strictly Mahjong-focused game that is approachable to beginners, and does offer some real challenge with the higher difficulty levels. It's a cheap game to buy, and it's worth a playthrough. Sometimes I pick it up to play if I just want to do something relaxing and mentally engaging. But if you want to enjoy some serious pixel visuals or 90s synth CD tracks, you'll want to look elsewhere.